Alright guys, Matt with Games Abyss here. I'm coming to you from the floor of New York Comic Con. We're here at the Wildstar booth and I am standing here with Senior Community Manager of Carbine Studios, David Bass. David, thank you for joining us so much.
For having me.
So, without a doubt, Wildstar has been a huge hit so far in New York Comic Con. Even as we speak now, the demo stations are absolutely packed. And I'm sure that that's in large part due to how awesome the game looks and how well it plays. But I'm sure it's in no small part also due to this young lady right over here to my right, Miss Amie Lynn, dressed up as an Aurin. You see the cute ears. So I actually understand that this is your first New York Comic Con. So
It is.
how has the experience been?
The convention itself is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, and then outside of the convention, this is my first time in New York in general.
Oh, it's your first time in the city.
Yeah, it's scary. It's so scary. I'm like, I didn't think I was like such a country bumpkin, but after coming to this convention in particular, I'm like, man,
It's opened your eyes.
I have like a child here.
That's awesome. All right.
But
Well,
it's been fun.
welcome to our fair city. So how's it been cosplaying with these guys? How do you like the Aurin costume compared to some of the other ones that you've done?
They're horrible. They suck.
Did they make you dress up as an Aurin? Did you really want to do Chua?
Actually, yes. I wanted to be a furry Yoda, and they would not let me. No, I mean, I really did want to do the Aurin class. The coolest thing about this costume is that because the game, you get to customize your own character. I customized my own outfit in order to kind of represent that.
So this is exclusive Amie Lynn Aurin.
Yes,
Right here.
downloadable content. No, I'm just kidding. But it's been fun. It was definitely a creative process getting to design my own armor and my own outfit and everything.
Very cool.
I think it matches true to the Aurin race.
I
I
think
don't know, David. That's it.
I think it looks fantastic. I'm sure everybody else does. I'm gonna let you get back to work. I really appreciate you giving us the time. Amie Lynn, everybody, thank you so much. And now, back to the man. So,
I should have been just like on my phone while that was going on. Like, oh, sorry.
downloadable content, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
So tell us a little bit about what's different about the build of Wildstar that you brought here to New York Comic Con as opposed to earlier in the year, say at PAX East.
So this is the same game this is the same build we had at PAX Prime and Gamescom. It's basically one version later than the last closed beta test. So this is like right after CBT 3.
Okay.
And there's not a ton different. There was a lot of polish and a lot of love done. I mean, especially to show off the game at a show, you want to make sure that it's a really solid demo.
Absolutely.
So we are showing off Crimson Isle, which is the level 3 through 6 Dominion zone. And so it's a nice starting area for people who don't really know the game or know how to play any of the classes. And we also have a higher level, around mid-game, a level 25-ish zone called White Veil. And that you can play in either faction and flag yourself for PvP. And the questing area happens to be that both sides have to go to the same place to do their quests. And so it's a great place for everybody to gank each other and attack anyone they want.
So you're on two sides of a map and then you find one another.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so sweet.
Yeah, they give each other a very loving embrace with claws and swords.
So now that both factions have been officially filled out, tell us a little bit about what the team's inspiration was for the designs of the Chua and Mordesh races.
So the Chua and Mordesh are kind of the embarrassment of both factions. They're both very distinct from each other, but the Dominion and the Exiles are sort of embarrassed about each of those. They are not really, they're not very happy that either of them are part of those factions, but they kind of accept them as a necessity.
A tolerable evil.
Yeah, the Chua are just absolutely crazy, like absolutely insane. They will kill anything that moves as fast as possible.
And do it while looking adorable.
Yeah, they'll do it, they'll be happy about it, they'll laugh joyously as they're setting things on fire. And so they're a little too much for the Dominion to handle. The Dominion very much value order, value the hierarchy of power and control, and the Chua just kind of throw that all out the window. And then the Mordesh on the other side, they have, as you can see, cursed themselves with this gross disease that spreads across their whole body. Their entire planet was covered by this disease, and so they left trying to find a cure for it. And so the Exiles tolerate them because they have the knowledge of science that no other race has. They know everything there is to know about the science, and coming to Nexus where all this crazy stuff's going on, the Mordesh are the ones who are going to find out and study all the creatures and the plants to figure out what is going on there and if there's a cure for their disease.
So that'll be a fun underlying theme of the whole story.
Yeah, the Mordek story is very
cure.
much about redemption. Victor Lazarin, the guy who accidentally created that disease, is the one who's also created the cure that you'll see in parts of their body, that the serum that they soak in, that keeps them from dying, basically, or from going crazy. And so he's very much trying to find an actual cure. And that's what he's doing on Nexus personally, while at the same time trying to further the Exile control of
Of course.
planet.
So tell us, as best you can, how to put into scope the vast size of Nexus.
Well, it's a planet. I mean, it's a big planet. There's 2 main continents. There's a 3rd continent that is kind of for higher level characters will end up there. That's where a lot of the end game story takes place. And then in addition to that, there's 2 off-world areas to explore. So it's a very, very big planet, and all those continents have multiple zones in them. And so there's a ton of variation between each of the zones, and also inside the zones themselves, there's a lot of sub-zones that look completely different from each other.
So I can't wait to explore the entire planet. It looks incredible. Now, explain to everybody a little bit about why the hybrid pay model of I could spend my dollars and play, or I could obtain the in-game cred item. How does that benefit us as gamers, this system?
Well, I mean, the subscription model to start with is it's very nice for us because it means that the players have an expectation, and it holds us to that flame of, can we keep pushing out content month after month? And it's our responsibility in order to justify you paying your subscription. And so we really like the idea of allowing people to pay $15 a month, knowing that they're going to be getting something really good for that subscription. And then the hybrid side of it, the cred stuff, if you're playing the game a ton, if you're really good at playing the auction house, or just you play a ton and earn a lot of gold, we want to give those players some sort of reward for being in the game so much and contributing to the community. And for us, that means, let's give them the opportunity to buy cred. And for someone who doesn't have a lot of time but wants to buy that really cool mountain game,
right,
they can buy cred out of the game and sell it in game, and suddenly they got lots of gold. And so it's a nice way to screw the gold farmers over. It's a nice way to allow players who don't want to pay a subscription to earn their subscription in game and not have to worry about paying it outside of it.
This is progressive thinking in the foot, folks. All right, so now for the putting you on the spot questions.
Okay.
We have to do this. Tell me where Wildstar is going to excel in relation to so many more of the highly anticipated online games coming out, such as World of Darkness and Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, I think Wildstar stands on its own as something that's got a very high personality. It's got a very strong, distinctive style that helps it not blend in with any other game that's out there. It's, the humor that we use in it, that you see in any of our trailers, that carries through the whole game. But at the same time, we've got a really great team of writers who also have a little darker edge to them. And so parts of the story are going to get dark, parts of the story are going to be really light, and I think being able to have that variation while you're leveling, while you're going through the story and finding out what happened on Nexus is really, really appealing.
So there's been a lot of talk for a while now about the possibility of next-gen console porting. Do we have any new developments in that area? Can you tell us?
We're just focusing on the PC right now.
Focusing on PC,
Yep.
all right. Putting all the rumors to bed. When are we going to be able to play Wildstar, man?
We're coming out in spring 2014. The closed beta, which has been on hold for a little bit, it's going to be starting up by the end of the year. And so you'll be able to, if you've already applied, you're still good to go. We're still taking signups on the website, but we'll be ramping up very quickly once we reopen the beta, inviting more and more and more people, and then rolling right up to open beta and then launch.
Incredible. Can't wait to get in on it. David, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you.